Major 7 chords can quickly become boring, so let's check some alternatives. Hi, my jazz friends all over the world. Sandra Sherman here. Greetings from Austria. We can use the following tensions for the major chord group: the 9th, sharp 11th, and 13. This results in these chords and all combinations thereof. 6th chords also belong to the major group. If you want to play comping fills, chord solos, or chord melody, you need a bunch of chords. So let's harmonize the G. We stick to G for the whole lesson. The G major scale on the B string. The B string is where most of the comping happens. We're later going to continue to up until the E string, where more of the chord solo and chord melody happens. So if B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. Mind you, we don't know if we're on the first scale degree, which has a major chord, or the fourth, which also has a major 7 chord. But the tensions are different. We have a sharp 11 on the 4th degree. And also, even if we're on the first scale degree, where we would have a regular 11th, which we never play because it really is an avoid note, we can also add sharp 11 chords even on the first degree, like in a 2-5-1, because that sounds really cool. So let's add in that C sharp as well. So we have C, well, we avoid the C, so let's play C sharp instead. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Basically, that's a G Lydian scale now, and we can play that over G, all G major chords. All right, let's use this as the top note to shape a chord. For each note, that's the top note of that chord. The easiest way is to start out with a simple shell voicing here, and then add the top notes. So you want to have C sharp. You can also play it like that, but I prefer my thumb. So here's my shell voicing with the thumb, plus C sharp. Gives you G major 7, sharp 11. Analyze what the top notes are, and you will get the names for your tensions. G, and also you memorize things easier if you know what you're doing. It's easy for me to memorize hundreds of chords because they're all derived from shell voicings, you know? So shell voicing plus sharp 11 or flat 5 gives you G major 7, sharp 11. Then we go back to the G major. And for this one, we have more options, and you get all the options from the PDF, which I link down below in the info box. So there's like a G6, 9. It's just you exchange the middle 2 strings and you get a G6, 9. It's also a major chord, or a G6, right? And then we go to the E on top. We play a shell voicing again, plus that E on top is the 6th. But since the 7th is in here, we have a G major 13. I have a tension chord video where I explain everything about tensions, how they are built, how they are named, why they are named, what you can substitute for which, and you should check it out. I put a link up here, a card where you can click. Okay, now the next thing you should be doing is practicing clusters of 3, so you can vary your comping, okay? So let's say these 3 notes. Pick any of the voicings that appear here with the a D on top. Because we have this, we have this, we have this, right? Choose any. Make half bars. 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. All right, let's continue. We go to F sharp. We have an inversion here, so that's the next basis here. And then you stretch your fingers. You can do this. That's just a G power chord with the B on the bottom in a bass. That's G/B. That's just a triad. It's not even a jazz chord, but it sounds very nice. Also in jazz. The same tones you can have from that C shape. That's that C major 7 moved up to G. Here's the triad again. is the same as this. This one sounds richer because the B in bass, that's the third in the bass, always has that warm sound. Then let's move, and also we have a G6 here, by the way, and a fantastic chord. This one is an inversion of G major with the fifth on in bottom, in bass. Right? So you may want to practice this. A lot of people get this wrong. They mix up their fingers here. Then A on top gives us a different shell voicing. We have a G major shell voicing from the A string here. Shell voicing being the third and the seventh in the chord, and the root no fifth. So now, instead of fifth, we play a ninth on top. G major 9. If you replace your seventh for a sixth, you get a G6 9. That's also a major group chord. We don't hear that much of a difference here because it's an inner voice movement. You hear it better when the upper voice, the highest note, changes. Inner voice movement, you hear it, but it's not that present. Okay, then we can go up to our regular G major chord for that B on top, and that was it. So you could make a cluster here. Choose any of those with the A on top, this one or this one. This one's easier, G6 9. And then you go to maybe G6. And then you go back up again and choose the other one that you haven't played before. So 3, 4, 1. Nice 2 bars of comping. Choose other ones. All right. If you want to dig deeper into jazz playing, check out my starter packs. I have all different kinds of genres like Latin, jazz, blues. You learn how to do the rhythm comping, you learn how to improvise. There are chord melody packages on my lesson shop. And all the lesson material is included, like the tabs, Guitar Pro tabs, including tabs annotation, backing tracks, and of course the link to the detailed video tutorials. The price on these packages is a no-brainer, so click the link down below in the description box and grab yours now. So here's a comping example. Let's say we have 2 bars of G. We play the first one. This is the standard jazz rhythm, Charleston it's also called. 1, 2, and then we can do something that's called sidestepping. I play a G6 9 chord, then I go 1 to the left on B2 and on B2, and I'm back again. That's important. You can't end on the chromatic. You have to go up again. Now let's add some inner voice movement. Inner voices are the middle one, not the highest one, not the lowest one, the middle 1 or 2 strings. Voices, actually. Okay, again, let's start with a simple in the first bar. And then I'm playing around the G6 chord. I start with G6 9. But I don't play that C sharp here, just play. Then I add my pinky here, and that's like a G6 chord now. And then I add these 2, right? And I get, that's a G6 chord, and I just made a little melody. Right? Then I go up to the E, which gives me a G major 13 chord, and back to G major 7. You can help to keep the free video tutorials of this channel running by becoming a member of the channel, and you can do so by clicking the join button right next to the subscribe button, which also grants you access to my mini lessons. You can also say a little thank you by clicking the thanks button. and donate a little something. This really helps with the productions of the videos. Thanks a lot. If you want to play chord solos, chord melody, or chord fills, you need higher ranged voicings that go up until the E string. Okay, so let's first again check the G major, respectively the G Lydian scale. E on the E string, E, F sharp, G, A, B. C would be in the G scale, but it's an avoid note, which we never have in the chords. So let's use C sharp. It's the Lydian tone. D, E, okay? Basically, that's the G Lydian scale again. Okay, let's start with this nice one. That's a G major 7 voicing. It's also an arpeggio. G, B, D, F sharp. Now, again, if you know this one and you want to play a G major 7 flat 5, you can play the C sharp down here. Sounds so cool. That's an inner voice movement again, because it's not the highest note. The highest note remains on the F sharp. If you're not really in G Lydian, if you on the first scale degree, you should end this fun on the D and just play this in between. Don't end it on the C sharp maybe. If you're on G Lydian on the 4th degree of the D major scale, then that's okay to end here as well. Otherwise, it's just like a little play around thing. Okay, then we have a G6-9. Remember, these are all derived from the basic chords. We had a G6-9 here. Now you just octavize, is that a word? You just put that one 2 octaves up. This, instead of this G, you play this one. And you get that one. That's a simple trick. If you have anything on the E string, move it to the high E string and you get an upper chord. That's called an upper chord or upper cluster chord. Okay, then we have, let's take that G major basic chord again. And again, we don't play this here. Also, we don't play it here. That sounds not good. But let's play the A on top, which is the 9th, G major 9, right? Here you have a cluster of 3. You have a little chord solo already going on. In a solo, you could also just not play every chord, but kind of just play every second one as a single note. You can play around with that. Just fool around with clusters of 3, okay? To practice. Because that's what we often do when we play chord solos, chord melody. Then we go to the next one here is a basic G major 7 that you should know anyway. Here's the root. Now it gets more trickier. Sharp 11 comes from this G major chord. Actually, sorry, it comes from this G major plus the B plus the C sharp. It's a mix of this and this basic shell voicing plus the C sharp on top, which gives you this G major 7 sharp 11. Very cool sounding voicing. Then for the D on top, we come from that G6-9 that we had on the A string. Don't play the A string and play the D on top. And again, it's still a G6-9 because that's the 5th of the chord. That doesn't change anything. Then G13, major 13, you could just move your pinky over there, but let's play this part of the G major chord plus the E on top. G major 13. And G major 7 basic chord again. Now let's throw in some fills, and they are usually played in the second measure of 2 measures, because there's usually less melody to mess with. Remember, keep it simple, you're still comping someone. Right, we start with a regular G major comping, and then we want to throw in a fill from the higher voicing. So try to connect the basic comping chord to one of those above. Right? G major 9 to G6-9. Now we can also go here, G major 7 with the B in bass, And then I throw in an upper voicing. Here's that G major 7 voicing. And I do a little sidestepping again. We learned that before. Just now we do it on an upper voicing. Now it's a chord fill. Let's go up even more. And we don't always have to strum or play hybrid picking. We can also pick through the strings. I use this nice G major 7 with the D in bass now. 1 and 2 and 3, and then I add a little, right? And then I go up here, G major 13, and I play a little melody. It's okay to play a little melody when you're comping someone once in a while. And a nice Lydian chord. You have to be careful if that fits. If it doesn't fit, you may want to choose something that goes to the B. Oops. Okay, so here is the last example. For chord melody or chord solo, we need a smoother way to transition between the chords. So let's just play a single note every other time. Let's start on the G major chord, and instead of playing a full G major 13 chord, let's just play that 13, the E, by moving our pinky. Make sure that you don't pull it off, not like this. Just lift it. If you lift it 0 degrees forward, you will not hear a pull off. Then I go up the scale and I chose this one for the F sharp. I could have also chosen this one, but I don't want to move my wrist too much, so I chose this one. Also, this sounds so beautiful. Then I just put my finger out, perfect. And then I go, take a little leap, I jump to that B, I play the G major 7. And instead of playing the A with the whole chord, I just lift that finger and bar this to catch that A. And then the nice ending chord, G major with that D. So, okay, at slow tempo, 3, 4. Okay, let's go a little higher. I start out with this G major, add that root, G6-9, stretch your pinky, then a G6-9 on the upper 4 strings. Now go down to the C. Maybe it sounds wrong to you now because you have that C sharp in your ear. You can play the C, just not with a chord. The C is the 11th, and that's the avoid note in the G major scale. But you can play it as a passing tone. That's totally okay. For that next with the B, G major 7, A on top, and G6-9. You can add the root, the root on bottom. Okay, here we go. 3, 4. Check out my chord playlist. Give this video a fat thumbs up so it gets spread and be seen by other people as well. Please hit that like button, that notification button, so you will never miss a video. And I hope to see you next week again. Servus, baba.